INS Vikramaditya is the latest aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy, which was commissioned into the Navy on 16th of November 2013 by the then Defense Minister Shri A.K. Antony in Russia. Vikramaditya, the floating airfield, has an overall length of about 284 meters and a maximum beam of about 60 meters, stretching as much as 3 football fields put together. Standing about 20 stories tall from keel to the highest point, the sheer sight of this 44,500-ton mega structure of steel is awe-inspiring. The ship has a total of 22 decks. With over 1,600 personnel on board, Vikramaditya is literally a floating city. To get in detail with this particular most important information and various other awe-inspiring inputs regarding INS Vikramaditya as the coming up series on the Independence Day special updates, let us begin with today's defense updates of 13th of August 2020. And as I always introduce you guys that SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. We are one-stop solution for you if you are preparing for various defense examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET and Territorial Army. I highly recommend you to download our Android app from Google Play Store and always follow us on all sort of social media platforms wherein which we are giving very beautiful, important, considerable inputs. Beginning with the question of the day that I have posted on 12th of August 2020, that is yesterday, and the question that I asked was, what is APF SDS? And most of you have given the correct answer for this, and I appreciate each and every aspirant who has given a correct answer. And you guys are correct that APF SDS has its full form as Armor Piercing Fin Stabilized Discarding Sabot. I repeat, Armor Piercing Fin Stabilized Discarding Sabot. Understanding? So the name itself explains a lot of this. This particular is a very important cartridge. All of these are different sort of cartridges. They can be of 120 mm, 180 mm. It depends upon their diameters. So this is an armor piercing. The meaning of the armor piercing is this is used in the battle tanks. Understanding? So all of these important APF SDS are used in the battle tanks, and these are very strategic weaponry that all the important battle tanks consider about, and most of these are included in the battle tanks that include China, India, United Kingdom and various other most important nations. So this is a type of kinetic energy penetrator ammunition which is used to attack the modern vehicle armor. Okay. And as an armament for main battle tanks, it succeeds Armor Piercing Discarding Sabot APDS ammunition, which is still used in small or medium caliber weapon systems. The Soviet Union was the first country, understanding, Soviet Union, which is the first country to adopt this particular technology. They fielded 15 mm 2A20 smoothbore gun on T-62 battle tanks to use these APF SDS rounds. And the Soviet excellence in the field continued to the larger 125 mm gun, with the Soviets developing advanced rounds. Now, a lot of important ammunitions are being acquired from Russia, and each and every particular tank, including the T-90 tanks in Bhishma, are using all of these APF SDS weapons. Regarding the important technologies, because we are speaking the important defense updates and the important ammunitions that we are speaking about, now Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan has been begun. So already DRDO has started making its own APF SDS ammunition, and they called it Fin Stabilized Armor Piercing Discarding Sabot. Okay, this is what it is. FSAPDS. It is Fin Stabilized Armor Piercing Discarding Sabot. It is completely developed and it is manufactured by the Defense Research and Development Organization. Understanding? The features of this is that these can be fired from smoothbore T-72 tank gun. Okay, and the stowage in tank within the existing space it acquires, and the loading can be done by autoloader without affecting the rate of fire. It also has a ballistic performance to conform to the existing T-72 sight graticule pattern, and it can defeat all NATO targets at a range of 2500. Okay, all of these are very important updates regarding the Indian made FSAPDS. These are very important points for you to consider. Okay, so if you are preparing for various defense examinations like CDS or various examinations like the AFCAT examinations, then you can expect all of these strategic questions that might come up, that might pop up in the coming up examinations for you. So let us now begin with the first and foremost important defense update, and that is that Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's light combat helicopters are deployed for operations at Leh. This is for the after many number of days that these helicopters are being deployed. Until now we were deploying various other helicopters like Apache, Chinook, and now even HAL helicopters are now at Leh. Okay, so these are to meet the specific and unique requirements of Indian Armed Forces, reflecting crucial role of HAL in Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, IAF and Indian Army put together, they as of now they need around 160 of these sort of helicopters, as said by the HCL. Defense Acquisition Council has approved the proposal for the initial batch of only 15 LCHs. Okay, now the DSA has approved only 15 LCHs, but collectively both Army and Air Force, they literally need 160 as said by the HCL. Okay, and any other details regarding this one we will update in the coming up days. Going on with the next important update is that Indian envoy to China, Shri Vikram Misri, has met the top party functionary to discuss LAC tensions. Now, Indian ambassador to China is Vikram Misri. He on Wednesday he met Liu Zhanshao, who is the deputy director of office for the CPC Central Committee Foreign Affairs Commission. Okay, so he's the deputy director of the office of CPC Central Committee Foreign Affairs Commission, and Vikram Misri has went to discuss some of the important LAC matters and the situation at LAC to Liu Zhanshao. Okay, and during the meeting he referred to India's position on the situation and what all things are happening on the borders all along the eastern Ladakh and overall bilateral relations as said by the sources. All of these come within 3 days of the last military talks. Okay. Going on with the next important update is that the Skyroot has become the India's first private company to test upper stage rocket engine. Now, what is an upper stage rocket engine? Thus, you have to remember, see, rocket engine, when they are preparing it, there are stages in the rocket, and that is why a rocket is known as a multi-stage rocket. Okay, there are two types of rockets. One kind of rockets, they do not have any stages, but another kind of rockets, they have multi-stages. Now, what are the main requirements of the multi-stage rockets is they depend upon the course of action that they do. Now, when I'm speaking about the course of action, multi-stage rocket include two different kinds of engines. Now, if you're using a solid rocket booster, here I'm writing it, a solid rocket boosting engine, okay, which is a solid rocket boosting engine. The main features of this particular engine is it can produce a lot of thrust. A tremendous amount of thrust can be produced, but it is easily exhaustible. That means you can't use the solid rocket booster engines for a lot of amount of time. Solid rocket boosting engines are they produce a lot of heat, they produce a lot of thrust, and they can make the rocket move as much faster and as much with greater speeds as possible. But this can be done only within a short amount of time. The main reason is because these are exhausted very faster. Now, when coming up to the liquid rocket fuel engines, when they are liquid rocket fuels, they are not as much thrust producing as the solid rocket engines, but the advantage of them is they can be maintained and they can be used for a longer amount of time. So each and every spacecraft that is in space, even if you're considering about the international space stations and all of those important spacecrafts that are there, the satellites, all of them, they use the liquid rocket engines. Understanding? So these are very, very important for us to know. There are even other engines, they are also known as the cryogenic engines. The cryogenic engines, the main issue with regarding the cryogenic engine is this is also a sort of liquid rocket engine, but in case of cryogenic engines, there we will have liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Okay, if you are having liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen in a preferable amounts, then you call it as a cryogenic engine. Having cryogenic engine will give you considerable amount of thrust, and it can also help you producing that same thrust for longer periods of time. The main difference between solid rocket engine and liquid rocket engine is that you cannot stop a solid rocket boosting engine. Once the solid rocket booster is started, you can't stop it. It has to get exhausted till the last step. But in case of liquid rocket fuel, you can stop it in between by means of valves. That is how the rocket works. So this is the main principle by which a multi-stage rocket works. Now, if you're employing these two important different kinds of rockets, so in one way you are saving the rocket fuel and also you are even meeting the budgetary requirements that are required for the rocket. Until now, our country was only producing the solid rocket, only the first stage kind of rockets, but this is the first time that a private company of our country, that is Skyroot Aerospace, this is the main important company, it for the first time created the upper stage, that means the next stage of the particular rocket engines. Now, this particular rocket engine that this private company made is a 3D printed one, and it is an indigenously built one. These are very, very beautiful inputs. Now, this is built in our own country, and also it is a 3D printed engine, and this particular engine is named as Raman. Okay, it is named after the Nobel laureate Chandrasekhar Venkata Raman. So he has this particular engine has fewer moving parts, and it weighs less than half of the conventional rocket engines. Now, if you have less weight for the rocket engine and it is producing the same amount of thrust, it's a very good thing, because if the weight is less, the gravity acting also would be less. which will make the rocket move much more faster way, and we can save a lot of fuel also. So these are very beautiful inputs. Now the Skyroot Aerospace, this particular company is founded by Pawan Kumar Chandana and Naga Bharat. Both of them are former scientists of the Indian Space Research Organization. Now they also have another plan. Their next plan is they want to build a family of rockets. Now you can see it's Vikram 1, Vikram 2, Vikram 3. All of these are the family of rockets. They are named after the Indian space genius Vikram Sarabhai. Now they want to build all of these rockets. They want the capacity, the capability of these rockets is to launch 250 to 700 kilograms of satellites into low Earth orbit, also known as the LEO. So this is a space startup, is now in talks to raise 90 crore by mid 2021. This company has designed in-house software for launch vehicle guidance, navigation, control functions, and is testing on board its avionics modules. Going on with the next important update is Ordnance Factory Tiruchirappalli launches stabilized remote control gun. So this particular gun will be used in all sort of warships, on patrol boats, and it can remotely engage the small boats, skiff and other small aircrafts with high accuracy both during day and night. So Defense Minister Shri Rajnath Singh Ji has launched this particular weapon through video conferencing on Monday as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. And Ordnance Factory Tiruchirappalli officials have said that this particular stabilized remote controlled gun is fitted with 12.7 mm M2 NATO standard machine gun. It is designed for all sort of marine applications, and this is how that particular gun looks. Going on with the next important update is that Pakistan gives illegal gold uranium mining contracts to China in India's Gilgit-Baltistan territory. Over 2,000 leases for mining of gold, uranium and molybdenum have been illegally awarded to the Chinese firms by the Pakistan government in Gilgit and Baltistan, also known as the northern areas in their terminologies. Okay, recently, along with this one also, a 442 billion rupee joint venture was inked between the China state-run firm and a commercial wing of Pakistan military to construct Medha Daimur Bhasha Dam. Okay, so they are kind of thinking that all of this particular territory, they want to build a lot of dams, and they are also giving the important mining contracts and all of these illegally. So India is having a complete watch, and it will surely take up a good step regarding these issues. Going on with the next important update is that Greece armed forces are on high alert as tensions with Turkey heat up. This is an international update. There are always hostile relations between Greece and Turkey, as we have between India and Pakistan and USA and Russia. There are also some hostile relationships between Greece and Turkey. If you can see, it has already gone through around 4 to 5 wars. So also mention in the comment section what all sort of wars did Greece and Turkey have gone through. So Greece's armed forces were placed in a state of absolute readiness after Turkish Navy. What did the Turkish Navy do? It performed the maritime exercises off the island of Rhodes. As the Ankara is the capital of Turkey. Ankara's research ship Oruk Reis, it continues its oil exploration. Okay, now Turkey has been saying that Oruk Reis, this particular ship that Turkey has sent from Ankara to the island of Rhodes, is only about an oil exploration vessel. But Greece has an important strategic update regarding this one. It thinks that it is not just about oil exploration and all such sort of things, because all of that maritime border is the complete maritime border. It thinks that as per the Greek words, they think that everything is under their own control, their own authority. So Turkey has said that military ships and Oruk Reis to begin a survey in disputed area of Eastern Mediterranean. Currently, Oruk Reis remains in the Greece shelf as of now. Now we will have about the update regarding Neo Navy, also known as the INS Vikramaditya. As of now, because today is 13th of August, in the next few days, that means day after tomorrow, we will be celebrating our Independence Day. So in these 3 days, I will be covering very strategic and detailed inputs of very important aspects of our Indian Armed Forces. So today, we will know a little bit detail regarding INS Vikramaditya. Okay, INS Vikramaditya is as of now the whole and sole important aircraft carrier of Indian Navy. Also, we are now going to build INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is now under construction at Cochin Shipyard Limited, that might be inducted into the Indian Navy by 2022. Now let us understand about INS Vikramaditya in detail. So this is commissioned into Indian Navy on 16th of November 2013. Okay, very new one by the then Defense Minister Shri A.K. Antony Ji in Russia. Okay, now this is a stow bar type of carrier. What is stow bar? It is short takeoff but arrested recovery. I repeat, it is a short takeoff but arrested recovery type of carrier. And this particular ship has a displacement of about 44,500 tons The length is of around 284 meters. It has maximum beam length of around 60 meters and it has a speed of over 30 knots. Okay. It has 4 propellers, 8 boilers, and this particular aircraft carrier can carry around MiG-29K aircrafts, the Kamov 31 helicopters, Kamov 28 helicopters. Kamov 31 are the AWACS helicopters and Kamov 28 are the anti-submarine warfare helicopters. It can also carry Sea King helicopters, the ALH HAL helicopters, and also the Chetak helicopters. All of these are very, very strategic inputs regarding the INS Vikramaditya. To get in detail regarding the previous aircraft carriers that we have, because we also are discussing regarding INS Vikramaditya, we should also know a very bit detail regarding the INS Vikrant and INS Virat. INS Vikrant was the first aircraft carrier. This was also known as the R11 of our own country. And INS Virat is a second aircraft carrier. This was decommissioned on 6th of March 2017, very, very recently. And now we have INS Vikramaditya, which is the third aircraft carrier. Okay. So regarding this one, if we go through INS Vikrant, it was commissioned on 4th of March 1961. It was originally HMS Hercules. It was serving the British Navy, but we took it off later. This is a CATOBAR type of carrier, which means catapult assisted takeoff but arrested recovery. But later, once we acquired INS Virat also, INS Virat is a short takeoff and vertical landing type of carrier. After we acquired INS Virat, we converted INS Vikrant from CATOBAR to STOVL again later. Okay, so INS Vikrant is a Majestic carrier class carrier. It is a Majestic class carrier. And INS Vikrant could carry Seahawks, Alice submarine, anti-submarine warfare aircrafts, and also Sea King aircrafts. It could carry around 21 to 23 aircrafts in total, and it was decommissioned on 31st of January 1997. Considering INS Virat, this was commissioned on 12th of May 1987. It was formerly known as HMS Hermes and it was in service with the British Navy, and later we took it off. This was a Centaur class aircraft carrier and it could carry around 16 Sea Harriers, 4 Sea King aircrafts, 2 HAL Chetak helicopters and 4 HAL Dhruv helicopters. As said, this particular aircraft carrier was decommissioned on 6th of March 2017. Now we have to come in very, very detail regarding INS Vikramaditya, which was commissioned on 16th of November 2013. Initially, it was known as Admiral Goroshkov. It was named after a very famous admiral of the Russian Soviet Union. So it is now a short takeoff but arrested recovery type of carrier, and it is a Kiev class important carrier. Okay. Now this particular aircraft carrier can carry 26 MiG-29 aircrafts, 10 Kamov Ka-31 AWACS helicopters. Also it could carry around Ka-28 anti-submarine warfare helicopters, the Chetak and HAL helicopters also. This is still in service with the Indian Navy. Mention in the comment section regarding the details of the next new important aircraft carrier that is going to get commissioned by 2022, and that is INS Vikrant, the new aircraft carrier. To enable this 44,500 tons floating vessel Steel City to cut through the choppy seas with speeds of up to 30 knots, she is powered by 8 new generation boilers of steam capacity of 100 pph at an exceedingly high pressure of 64 bars, generating a total output power of 1,80,000 shp. Vikramaditya heralds in the new generation of boiler technology with remarkably high level of automation. These high pressure and highly efficient boilers power 4 enormous propellers, each greater in diameter than twice the height of an average male. Such a 4 propeller, 4 shaft configuration is another first in the Indian Navy. Also, the 6 turbo alternators, 6 diesel alternators on board generate a total electricity of 18 megawatts to power various equipment of the ship. Major systems will include the lunar landing system for the MiG-29s, the DAPS landing system for Sea Harriers, and the flight deck landing systems. Okay, so the heart of the operational network that infuses life into the combat systems on board the ship is the Computer Aided Action Information Organization, the CAIO system, which is named as LISURUP E. Okay, LISURUP E is a very, very important system. If we go through that, LISURUP has the capability to gather data from ship sensors and data links and to process, collate and assemble comprehensive tactical pictures. This state-of-the-art system has been specifically designed keeping in mind the essential requirement on the carrier for fighter control and direction. Also, to get in detail, that one of the another most important features that Resistor E is a radar complex that is there in this particular Indian naval ship, and it is automated system which is designed for providing air traffic control, approach and landing and short range navigation for the shipborne aircraft. Various frigates and destroyers always escort this particular floating city in various operations, informal visits to foreign countries, in national and international military exercises and during war. So going through this one, a new INS Vikrant IAC-1, also known as the Indigenous Aircraft Carrier 1, is being indigenously built at Cochin Shipyard Limited and will join the Indian Navy soon. Expected important year of joining is 2022. That is it regarding the details regarding INS Vikramaditya. Now we will have a very quick review about going through some of the most important questions. And the first and foremost question is, who is the Indian envoy to China? The Indian envoy to China is Shri Vikram Misri. Okay. The next important question is India's first private company to test upper stage rocket engine, and that private company is Skyroot Aerospace. Going through the next important question is, which ordnance factory has launched an indigenously manufactured weapon named Stabilized Remote Control Gun SRCG? It was Ordnance Factory Tiruchirappalli, which is OFT. Okay. And the next important question is, Hellenic Navy is the naval force of which particular country? Okay. The Greece Navy is also known as the Hellenic Navy. Please remember, the Greece Navy, the navy of the Greece is known as the Hellenic Navy. Okay. And the next important question is, recently a 442 billion rupee joint venture was inked between a Chinese state-run firm and a commercial wing of Pakistan's military to illegally construct what sort of dam? That is the Daimar Bhasha Dam. Now we will go through the question of the day, and the question of the day for today is, which bank has opened its ATM on INS Vikramaditya, making it the first bank to have an ATM on an Indian warship? I repeat the question, which bank has opened its ATM on INS Vikramaditya, making it the first bank to have an ATM on an Indian warship? The answer for this and the strategic details regarding that I will be discussing with you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams. Subscribe to this channel, download our Android app from Google Play Store, and last but not the least, always stay home, stay safe, eat healthy food, stay happy, and Jai Hind.